How are we doing, everybody? Sam here, United People's TV. It's Sunday, the day after Man United's 1-0 win over Tottenham Hotspur. Sorry, I didn't have a live match reaction up yesterday. I was at the game at Old Trafford, and the internet right there is pony on a match day. I'm not sure if you've ever experienced it, but because of that, all my live streams I ever seem to do outside the stadium, they bollocks up. So I've decided not to do them anymore. Need to sort of try and figure out how I can improve that. But how is everybody doing one day after that 1-0 win after 1-0 win over Tottenham Hotspur? Manchester United's biggest result so far, I would argue, in the Premier League this season. Everything was to play for against Tottenham Hotspur. Because we lost to Huddersfield the week before, there was pressure on Jose Mourinho. And in the week before, that was when Tottenham Hotspur blew Liverpool away 4-1 at Wembley. So going into the game, Tottenham Hotspur certainly in better form in that respect, but they didn't have Harry Kane. And it raised questions as to whether they would be able to cause Manchester United any problems. And then you look at the starting 11 that Man United laid out. Jose Mourinho played a 3-5-2. He matched Tottenham Hotspur's formation. And on a day where, where people expected Man United to struggle, I felt Man United were in a lot of control for the majority of that game. And it finished 1-0, but it could have finished 2 or 3-0. I was in a different seat yesterday than I normally am, but I was much higher up, and because of that I could really look at Spurs' line. They played with such a high back line. Like Vertonghen, Alderweireld, they would literally sit on the halfway line when Manchester United were in defence, and because of that, the balls over the top to Lukaku from Ashley Young, they were causing problems the whole game, and to Rashford. We didn't do it enough in terms of how accurate we were, but we were creating chances and problems for Tottenham Hotspur right from the get-go. Tottenham Hotspur, they played in two different styles this year. I was speaking to Flav from the Fighting Cock before the game, and he said, I don't know whether Tottenham Hotspur are going to try and take possession and control the game, or let you have possession and hit on the counter-attack. It kind of looked like a hybrid of both. Like in the first 15-20 minutes, Tottenham Hotspur really didn't offer much. Then they got into the game. In the last 15-20 minutes in the second half, Tottenham Hotspur were on the front foot. But it didn't really cause us any problems. The one real standout chance I remember was when a ball was curled through to Dele Alli, second half that was, and he couldn't make the right connection when it came across the 6-yard box. Ultimately, Manchester United punished that. Anthony Martial coming on as a second half substitute and doing what he has done so many times this season, made an impact from the bench. He scores the winner. Old Trafford goes potty. 1-0, as I said, it could have been 2-3-0. Lukaku hit the post. Lingard was straight through at the end, and if he had the awareness to take a touch, turn around, I think he would have seen Rashford storming through for a square pass and an easy 2-0, but instead he took the shot on. But it doesn't matter, because Man United won 1-0. I'm delighted about it, and it was a pure masterclass from Jose Mourinho. It wasn't magical from Jose Mourinho, but it was a manager who set his team up tactically, mirrored Tottenham Hotspur. It's what we did at Chelsea last year, one of our best home performances this season. If you look at Man United's record at home this year in the Premier League, played 5, won 5, scored 15, conceded 0. Man United at home this season are a different breed of animal. Yes, we struggled away to Stoke City, and yes, we struggled away massively to Huddersfield, but at home this season, Man United are definitely dominant. Let's read a few of your comments out from that game. Could have still been a better performance from us, says Luca. I absolutely agree with you. Man United were not magical against Tottenham Hotspur. I felt that Tottenham were the better footballing side, in that when they went forward with their attacking play, there was wonderful movement off the ball from Tottenham Hotspur. Made it impossible for us to basically stop their attacks, because there was always somebody willing to receive the ball. What Man United didn't do going forward, we didn't have enough movement. We were relying on those balls over the top from Ashley Young to Lukaku and Rashford. That was our attacking style. That was plan A. And I felt at certain points it wasn't working. I would have liked to have seen United play more football. More movement from Rashford. We haven't exactly got slow players. Rashford, Lukaku, Mkhitaryan, Young. Everybody can move in and around, making it difficult for Spurs to defend. But because we were so static, we had to rely on these balls over the top. Ultimately, as I said though, it paid off because Manchester United won 1-0. But we could have been more against Tottenham Hotspur, but I would have liked to have seen United play a little bit more creatively. And I think that's the big problem. A lot of you are commenting on about it right now. We are missing Paul Pogba. With Henrik Mkhitaryan and Ander Herrera, I've got to say something. Both of them were very poor yesterday, and both of them in the last few games have been playing poorly. Mkhitaryan, fantastic start to the year. He's gone off the boil massively. Ander Herrera, player of the year last year. He's never been on the boil this season. Ander Herrera not playing to the same levels we saw last year. We need to see that from him. And with Paul Pogba out, it was his opportunity to step into that fold and show Jose Mourinho that he can start alongside Nemanja Matic and offer a lot in that midfield position. But he didn't. And ultimately, Ander Herrera is going to be dropped as soon as Paul Pogba comes back in. And there's only one person to blame for that. It's Ander Herrera himself, not playing to his certain levels. Somebody there saying it was a lucky goal. I don't think it was a lucky goal. Lukaku with the flick on. Martial, he made the difference. And it went in. So that's all that matters. Chris, they're saying Lingard should have made it 2-0. He absolutely should have done. But Lukaku could have done when he had a header that hit the post. But ultimately, there's zero grounds to complain from that game. Absolutely zero grounds. It was exactly what you expect from Jose Mourinho in these big matches. He stifled the opposition. The space was squeezed out. Spurs were playing expressively. Man United were playing disciplined. And we held our discipline. Liverpool, Newcastle, I'm saying all the wrong teams. Tottenham Hotspur never had clear-cut opportunities because Man United limited their ability to do so. Had we played more expressive at the back, maybe a little bit more aggressive instead of having 3 centre-backs, Spurs may have found themselves in behind our defence. But they didn't, because we didn't let them. And we scored. That's, had we not scored and had it been a 0-0 draw, I'm sure there would have been a lot of people complaining after that game. But for me, Man United played it perfectly. You have to play to your opposition. And I personally think that Spurs are a better footballing team than Manchester United at the moment. And Jose Mourinho set his side up just like that. Without your main creative spark, we were never going to have too much creativity against Spurs. But we made the most of it when we did. And ultimately, Martial got the goal that made the difference. Now we've got Chelsea away coming up next in the league. Let's not remind ourselves what happened there last year. Hopefully there won't be a goal after 20 seconds. But we need Paul Pogba back urgently. Will he be back in time for this game? I don't know, but fingers crossed he is, because we need that in midfield. Herrera man marked Eriksen, says Nathan George. I suppose Eriksen was a little bit quiet in the game, but I didn't see too much of Herrera man marking him. Maybe I wasn't watching him enough. Eric Bailly and Jones should play every game week, says Raunak. Both did play well, but something that Eric Bailly needs to work on is his distribution out of defence. His passing was atrocious. I swear to God he gave the ball away every single time he kicked it out. But a win is a win, boy, says Kevin Govender. And absolutely right, Kevin. I'm not complaining. Absolutely not complaining. That is exactly what I expected and hoped Jose Mourinho was going to do against Tottenham Hotspur. Take Liverpool the week before. Liverpool only have one style to play with. They lost 4-1. Man United have different alternative styles to play with. Man United played very well against Tottenham Hotspur, squeezed their space out, and then we punished them with that goal. We've got Chris saying Lingard needed to score that to make it 2-0. He absolutely did, but as I said, he just needed the awareness and the understanding the space around him just to turn around, see that he had a player coming towards him, could have squared it, could have been an easy 2-0, but ultimately it was a nervous last 10 minutes, but Old Trafford was bouncing after that goal. We've scored 10 goals in the last 10 minutes of games this season. Man United are making a habit of it. And that's the sort of habit we do need. Luca there saying, should we play with Rashford and Martial together? At some point we will this season, fella. But let's see what goes on there. Tom Mainsfield saying, I was there for Old Trafford for the first time in my life. Young was man of the match for me, but Matic, Valencia were all very close. Also thought Dele Alli dive was a bit much. Dele Alli's dive was a bit much. I didn't realise that in the stadium. But you're absolutely right there, Matic, mate, to point out the performances. I'm struggling to speak. The performances of Nemanja Matic and Valencia. Valencia nearly scored another worldy goal, but he didn't. Just went over the bar. But Nemanja Matic, I know I've said it, I can see there's a few who disagree with me, but I thought Ander Herrera played very poor in that midfield yesterday. But Nemanja Matic didn't. Nemanja Matic was a boss in midfield. There was a part in the second half, I don't know who it was, but Matic went toe-to-toe with a Spurs midfielder and just did a handoff and literally just pushed him to the ground before taking the ball further up the pitch. Nemanja Matic is absolutely the midfielder that we hoped we were going to sign. I don't know why Chelsea let him go to us, because he is such a heartbeat of this Manchester United team. And the more he plays, the more I love him. Got Tahir saying about what my opinion is of Rashford's performance against Tottenham Hotspur. I felt Rashford's final product and his decision making was a little bit off against Tottenham Hotspur, if I'm honest. You normally see Rashford being a little bit more clinical in everything that he does, his passing, his movement, those sorts of things. But against Tottenham Hotspur, I don't know, he just seemed a little bit off. The same thing goes for Ander Herrera, same thing goes for Henrik Mkhitaryan. We didn't play a wonderful 90 minutes where the whole team was a fantastic performance. Ultimately, it was a professional performance in the fact that we got the job done. Without Paul Pogba, with Henrik Mkhitaryan in poor form, with Lukaku not scoring at the moment, Man United played to our own ability and we made it count with that winner towards the end. James Bennison saying Matic has a lot more to his game than he ever thought. I completely agree. I thought that early this season when I saw Matic bursting forward up the pitch instead of just winning the ball and passing to somebody else. Matic's passing range as well is a hell of a lot better than I thought it was. Happy days all round. But let me know in the comments now. Leave a comment. Who was your man of the match? I'll say my man of the match at the end. But just to wrap it up, Man United now, we can put that Huddersfield game to the side. It was a shambles of performance, but we followed that up with a win against Swansea, very comfortable win in the League Cup, and a very strong win against Tottenham Hotspur at Old Trafford in our most important... Is it the most important game of the season so far in the Premier League? Either that or Liverpool away. Probably Liverpool away. But Spurs at home, with both teams level on points, we made it count when we needed to make it count. If we didn't win there and then we head to Chelsea after 2 consecutive Premier League defeats, that would have been bad news for Manchester United. But now, with 3 points ahead of Spurs, we're going to play Chelsea next. Fingers crossed we will not let the same thing happen this year than what happened last year in Jose Mourinho's first game back at Stamford Bridge as a Manchester United manager. Let's read through a few of your man of the match shouts. Got Ashley Young says Rannoch. Ashley Young played wonderful at left wing back role. How he's doing it, I don't know. 30-odd-year-old Ashley Young somehow starting lots of games for Manchester United, but he is doing the business. Greg Grant saying Martial. Martial came off the bench and made the difference. Again, he's been doing that all season long. Him and Marcus Rashford, whenever they've been coming off the bench, they've been making the difference. And that is making a huge difference. That's why we're so good in the last 10 minutes of games now, because you've got somebody like Martial or Rashford to change the last 10 minutes. Paul Zino saying, please give Matic a rest against Benfica. I think he might. That's probably a good shout because we need him to be fit and ready for that Chelsea game. And we've got Mo saying Matic is man of the match. It's between Matic and Martial. Who am I going to give it to? Personally, I'm going to give it to Nemanja Matic because I saw so much of his off-the-ball work and play. When you sit in the stadium, you see things differently. You always do. And watching Matic and his control of that midfield up against a very good footballing team in Tottenham Hotspur, it was fucking wonderful to see. And Anthony Martial, though, hats off to you for another big goal. Next week is huge. Chelsea coming up. We've got Benfica in the Champions League. We're on 9 points, 1 point there. We've got the Magic 10. So hopefully we will rest a few players at home and get everybody ready for that big game at Stamford Bridge next weekend. Thank you all for joining in on the match review. Sorry it wasn't live after the game, as I said, was at the match. Need to figure out a way so I can get videos done up there. But if you're new, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to United People's TV. Please drop a like on the video. It is always a good thing. It always helps the channel. Until tomorrow, I'll be here. MUFC Daily, 10:30 AM. We'll be running through a lot of stuff. More reaction from the weekend. Chat a little bit about the Benfica game coming up on Tuesday. Until tomorrow morning, take it easy.